Hello, everybody. This is episode 3 of the David Dark Situation. You don't need to watch those other two, though they are pretty great. I will reference the first one right quick to note a challenge that was voiced in that very short video about finding a pop song or recalling a pop song in which a word was granted as many syllables as the word child in the last line of Guns N' Roses' Sweet Child of Mine. 15 syllables by my count. My friend John Loftus, upon viewing the video, pointed out that in the song Gloria, not Van Morrison, not U2, but just the hymn Gloria, that one, 18 maybe, John counted. I accept this. I don't think of it as a pop song, though arguably it is. So, noting this. And today I thought I would say some things about the little mark on the bottom of the screen that I suppose YouTube uses to keep track of these things. I was able to choose my own, and I chose an image of the word culture, and it looks a little something like this. See what I did there? I put the cult in culture. I'm always trying to do that. I'm always trying to do it, I suppose, first and foremost with myself, as I'm thinking, what am I entering into? What's the culture? What's the scene? What has been cultivated in this space? And is it good that it was cultivated? Might I cultivate something different? Always cultivating, never not cultivating. My friend Todd Green says, ask not if you're in a cult, ask this, which ones, which I think is pretty great. That's discernment for you. I'll say, too, that this is not completely original to me. I teach a class called Faith in Pop Culture, and one day a friend and an artist that I admire named Will Maddox, that's Maddox with 2 X's, had gone into the room before me, knowing what we were discussing, knowing how many times I try to drive this thing home, that it takes a lot of cults to make a culture. And he had written that on the board with the tiny little URE. Stayed with me. I write it on the board a lot these days. I find it helpful in being aware, in cultivating consciousness, and thinking hard about what I'm cultivating. Beastie Boys, I forget the line. Well, I don't forget the line. I forget which song. Every thought in the mind is a planted seed is a line in a Beastie Boys song, and I believe this is true. We're cultivating. Yes, we're cultivating every day. This YouTube effort is an attempt to cultivate in one way or another. And I guess I will bring alongside that something that's troubled me lately. The Department of Homeland Security has a Twitter account, and I should say I have a Department of Homeland Security. We, the people of the United States of America, have custody over the Department of Homeland Security, which we fund and which carries out things with our presumed consent. We're responsible for it, which is why it bothers me that the Twitter account, or the X account, if you wish to put it that way, regularly posts content composed by someone who is every bit as masked, maybe even more masked, than the masked feds who are part of ICE in Minneapolis right now. I accept law enforcement. I don't accept masked law enforcement because I think we have a right to face our accusers. We have a right to see the faces of our employees, we the people of the United States of America, who need to be answerable and accountable to someone. So I'm rambling a bit, but I'm noting that I think it wrong that there is no one person who is willing to assume responsibility for what is being asserted on the DHS Gov account. That troubles me. It troubles me so much that I called the Department of Homeland Security and I asked who runs the Twitter account, who composes and publishes words, which, as we've seen today and previously, are disinformation. I guess it was months ago that the DHGov account tweeted, "Pray without ceasing." Okay, hooray for prayer, but I don't want my tax dollars paying a masked person to order or command or urge the people of the United States to pray without ceasing. Hooray for prayer. Hooray for prayer without ceasing. But that's a bully move that I don't want to fund. Similarly, and I guess I'm going to show one right here. This was a little bit helpful. You can find it yourself. If I knew how to put it in this video, I would. But one tweet from the DHS.gov website, I'm just going to put it here right quick. You see Stephen Miller there. I'll read it out loud to you. Reminder, quote, to all ICE officers, you have federal immunity in the conduct of your duties. Anybody who lays a hand on you or tries to stop you or tries to obstruct you is committing a felony. You have immunity to perform your duties, and no one, no city official, no state official, no illegal alien, no leftist agitator or domestic insurrectionist can prevent you from fulfilling your legal obligations and duties. The Department of Justice has made clear that if officials cross that line into obstruction, into criminal conspiracy against the United States or against ICE officers, then they will face justice. Signed, Stephen M., tagged on Twitter. I think that weird that Stephen Miller is speaking on behalf of the Department of Justice, and he's being quoted by the Twitter account of the Department of Homeland Security. I don't know if Pam Bondi cleared him to speak for the Department of Justice. I don't know if Kristi Noem is now deferring to Stephen Miller on all matters involving DHS.gov. If Tom Homan is saying, Stephen Miller, you speak for all of us now. I don't know, but I want to know. And when I called DHGov, I was transferred to someone, and then I was hung up on when I asked who's composing these tweets and publishing them. So with great power comes great responsibility within the United States government, citizen power, our power. And to bring us back to cults and culture, cults we will always have with us, but I would prefer that I not pay for those cults. Cults often run on militant denial, often punish people who aren't obedient to the leadership of the cult. And I accept that cults are going to happen, maybe good cults, maybe bad cults, but it seems inappropriate and unseemly and unconstitutional for there to be people serving in government who are pushing a cult on we, the people. So I might at some point report back on my progress. I will say, this is kind of important, that in the case of that the DHGov Twitter account just recently deleted a post in which individuals were accused of bringing their babies or their children who were hurt by ICE to a protest. I'm glad that they deleted that tweet, but I want to know who wrote the tweet to begin with, and I want to know who commanded whoever runs the account to delete that tweet. I don't want to be too dramatic about it, but I have a right to know what my tax dollars are going to. There we are. I think that will be it. Look for the cult in the culture. Think about which cults maybe need to be defunded, and know that I'm going to quote Patti Smith, that we, the people, have the power to wrestle the earth from fools. I look forward to hearing from you on this, and I thank you for giving me your time and attention. Talk soon.